Well, my friends, you don't want to miss the last hour today and tomorrow. It'll be Paul Watson's maiden voyage from England, co-hosting the show. I'm going to throw him in the deep end and let him do the last hour live by himself. Of course, Watson is a veteran news reporter for a decade and been a guest on countless syndicated radio broadcasts, so including this one. So it's not really throwing him in the deep end, but I do want to see what he does by himself covering news. And I've really given him no guidance. We'll see what he thinks is important, what he covers, what he goes over, and he may even take some calls. Now, I also want to continue with open phones today in this hour and the next ahead of his Redcoat Excellency coming on in the last hour today. And we do have people popping in also from Bilderberg 2010, like Paul Dorneanu, coming up here in just a few minutes because our last reports were on Friday. We got Tucker coming on in a couple days. He's flying back today from Sitges, Spain, side of Bilderberg 2010. I've got to say probably the most memorable in history. I mean, they're routed. They said, quote, "We're just about whipped on our global warming takeover, our tax." The whole world's waking up to them. They're in thousands of newspapers now, literally hundreds in Spain alone, hundreds in Germany. I mean, it's just, so I don't know how many articles they're in. I know you Google the term Bilderberg and you put it in different search functions, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles that you just see right there on the surface. So there's a complete implosion of their operation. The problem is they're going to try to launch a war with Iran as a political distraction, and that comes directly from the Bilderberg Group sources. And people say, oh, well, you know, what are your sources? Well, in media, we can't give you our sources, but they have a lot of secretaries. They have a lot of financial planners. They have a lot of people that work with them. There's also guests, and there's senatorial aides and people like that. Okay? I mean, look at the track record of the info Tucker's gotten. It's gold. Jim Tucker's for real. Look at how many predictions he's made that have happened, unfortunately, via the info he got from Bilderberg. We wish that they weren't in power. We wish that they didn't have not complete control, but they're able to steer and twist world events in many cases the way they want. Until now, they're having more and more failures because you are taking action and we are revealing them. And the people that say we're kooks because there's a world government run by bankers, they look like lying kooks now. The people that say fluoride's good for you or mercury's good for you or vaccines are good, people are now reading the vaccine inserts and finding out they're being lied to. And they can have shows for kids like Squidbillies where fluoride's good for you and you're toothless hillbillies if you don't drink it. That's only going to wake adults up. It's over, okay? It's over if we just take action. Yes, the globalists are going to stage terror. Yes, they're going to try to shut down the internet. Yes, they're going to bring in police states. But at least the battle's joined, and we know they're not invincible. And we've shown people they're not invincible. And if we just take action, it's over. It's over if you get up off your butts. If we all collectively get off our enormous butts and do something, we can change history here for the better. The other alternative is degradation and slavery of a high-tech version we've never seen before. Let me tell you, it ain't pretty. Okay, now here's the deal. Gold is up almost $20 today. The bankers about an hour ago tried to drive it down. It failed. It's at an all-time high today right now. An hour ago, they tried to drive it down. It's come out in congressional hearings that J.P. Morgan especially is trying to fix the gold price, but they're failing because Europe is basically sold out of gold. They're reporting their mints are sold out. The pawn shops are sold out. Premiums are exploding. And I wanted to briefly bring Ted Anderson up before we go to Paul Dorneanu joining us from Romania because, Ted, you've got some other news headlines for us on the economy. Bloomberg's reporting with their chart yesterday that made international news that within just a few years, our GDP will be less, our gross domestic product, everything we make will be less than the debt. So the bankers set up fractional reserve banking so it's physically impossible to ever pay it back. It's made up. We either say no to the fraud or we're done for. And as long as we get that message out so people have an alternative, we can bring these people down. But I wanted to bring Ted Anderson up, 31 years in the gold and silver business, 14 years with Midas Resources, or maybe even longer. And here he is joining us today. Ted, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me up, Alex. And the way you said it is exactly right. There was a sell-off this morning But all those losses were erased immediately, and now we're about $10 away from the all-time peak for gold, in the U.S. dollar, I should say.
It's already the all-time peak in Europe.
Yeah, it's already in the all-time peak in Europe. We've seen 1241 already today, and currently right now trading at 1240.10. I mean, Reuters is writing about it. I seen the article in Bloomberg. The Hindu has a big article in gold on how the people in India are they're buying gold, especially jewelry and bars. I mean, my wholesalers are out there in Europe right now trying to buy francs, and they're trying to buy the British sovereign, and they're just not getting enough material. It's really getting tight out there. And like you said,
and you've been around for 30 years, and so when you're having trouble getting it, I mean, it's running out everywhere else.
It is. I can tell you right now, 30 years ago, I could have bought bags of junk silver, and silver was running up over $50 an ounce, and there was no shortage. Right now, we're sitting in a position where it's hard to, you have a hard time buying Krugerrands and Maple Leafs. I mean, the Krugerrand, the South African government turned up their production, and they're making it, it increased 25% over the last high.
And that shows that we have a fixed market, because when, say in Venezuela, when they fix the price of milk and they claim that it's in U.S. conversion, $3 per gallon, but you can't find it anywhere. So there's a black market where it's $8 a gallon. That's price fixing. So they say gold is $1,239, up $19.30 today, but in reality, it's sold out and there's giant premiums. So the market is showing that gold is really closer to $1,500 an ounce right now. But Ted Anderson, being the free marketeer that he is and the patriot, he bought gold and silver when it was over $100 lower, and he's still selling it to you, but he's almost sold out of everything, and then the price will go up. So do not screw around. Ted, explain this to people and give folks today's offer.
Sure, I will. Absolutely. Right now, the Walking Liberty half is still at $9.75. That was the same exact price we talked about last week. The only coin that's edged up a little bit here is that franc, and my traders are saying that this coin has to be up in the 270 range, and I said, no, we're not going to do that. We picked them up to 265, but I got to tell you, there's so much pressure on that market. Right now, I'm hoping to get a good supply of the British sovereign again. We've sold just a ton of those things, and the people that bought them are sitting on nice profits now. They really are sitting with nice increases.
Well, let's tell folks the coins you do have, though, Ted.
Well, the ones that we have right now is going to be the franc, and you get that one with the forecaster, a full year subscription to Bob Chapman's newsletter at $265 a coin.
But if somebody wants more than one coin, they can still get the $265 a piece.
Yes, they can. They can buy as many as they want at this particular time, but I can't say that that's always going to occur, because the Europeans are the ones that are buying the gold coins right now, and this is a European coin. I import them. I have to deal with the competition of that market, and the premiums are starting to rise, just like you said earlier. Premiums on U.S. Eagles went up by $100 an ounce here just a couple years ago, when Hank Paulson and George Bush was calling for, for the TARP bailout. I mean, that's what's going on in Europe right now, and it's not going to stop in Europe. It's coming right back home here to the United States, and we're going to have problems just like that. And if people haven't come to their senses and decided to buy gold for their portfolio, I don't know how I can help them. I mean, Alex, I just need to tell you that $265 for a franc is going to look like a really, really good price later on, because the market is moving away from that. And even though it's at a discounted price today, you got to realize that people are sitting in the stock market, the bonds. If you have an IRA put away and you think that you're going to have something in the future, it's under attack. The United States dollar is not going to hold value as the Federal Reserve System turns on the printing presses and cranks out the debt machine and puts us in such hock. I mean, there's just no way that the United States dollar is going to fare well in that kind of an economy, that environment.
Ted, tell folks about some of the other coins that you do have in plentiful supply. How are you doing on those silver half dollars?
The silver half dollars are there. You can buy as many as you want right now. I shouldn't say that, because I don't know exactly what, how many people will place orders on, but they are available right now. The junk silver's a great buy. I was able to reduce the price on $20 Liberties, even though the price went up in the gold market, almost a 40-point fluctuation today to $1,518 a piece. We have U.S. Eagles. I mean, there are many different coins that you can be buying in on and getting some good quantity in. But you know what? When this stuff comes from Europe and starts landing in the United States, this crises that we're dealing with, it's not going to be pretty, Alex. All this stuff is going to go up. The premiums are going to have to rise because there's such demand right now. I don't know how to say it any more clearer than that. I mean, I'm not saying that gold